So that's why I'm running. I'm running because things need to change, and they need to change now.
Okay. And your priorities would be anyway.
Number one priority is to take this agency and, first of all, to be a steward over the funds. You've got now a $45 million budget. My belief is that you're actually going to spend more like 53 or 54 million this year. Your budget is 45. So I'm not sure exactly how much you folks will actually spend. So my expectation is that you won't be spending 45. You'll be spending somewhere in the mid-50s in terms of what the actual out-the-door dollars cost is. So my first thing is to get control of the trust resource. The fact that these kinds of things can happen at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs leads me to believe that something is very, very wrong. That's why I'm running. The other thing is that we need to be spending our dollars empowering and educating Hawaiians. I work with a program that's designed to educate Hawaiians. That's not being done. OHA does provide some funding to some programs that I support. The problem is they don't provide as much funding as they could. They could fund so many more programs if they had, if they substantially cut their overhead, substantially cut the wasteful spending, and then put it into good programs. The other thing that OHA does not do, which I didn't say, is you have no assessment or evaluation. No assessment or evaluation at your program. None whatsoever. You folks spend money and nobody's assessing or evaluating whether it's having any impact. That is absolutely ridiculous. How are you going to know what makes a difference? My sense is what's really going on at the OHA, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, is that funding decisions and spending decisions are really decisions that are political decisions, and they shouldn't be. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs trustees ought to be painting targets, and then they ought to step back while people compete for the grants. They should not be involved in measuring grants, measuring which grant is going to get funded and which grant is not going to get funded. And that's how it's now done at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. To me, that is a system that does not work, and to me that's a system that really reeks of a political patronage system. Because the trustees approve specific grants, they ought to be saying, here are our priorities. They ought to be saying, based on data and information, here are the priorities that we believe are important. Target number 1 in education, here's what it is. Target number 2 in health, here's what it is. Target number 3 in economic development and community support, here it is. Target number 4, family-based programs, here they are. These are the kinds of things we want grants to be put into, and then they ought to go out to the community and train the community on how to write those grants. And then what they ought to do is they ought to give that money out in a fair process, not one that they manage themselves, but one that they give to an entity that can weigh those requests for funding and pick the right ones. And when the money goes out, what they need to do is they need to monitor it, and they need to make sure that when the money comes back, or when the funds are expended, that they collect data about what the impact of that money has been. OHA has absolutely no evaluation or assessment of any of the grants that you folks are making. To me, that is absolutely unconscionable, and to me, that makes no sense at all. So, you asked me the question at the top of this, why am I running? I'm running for all the reasons I said.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.